Welcome to the Humanist Podcast. I'm your host, Ken Stearns. Join us on a journey where we unravel the intricacies of workplace dynamics. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Humanist. I'm your host, Ken. As the little intro there says, really exciting pre-chat with my next guest, Cesar Marin. Cesar, welcome to the show.
Ken, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you to talk what it is to be human, right?
What is to be human?
I'm a real big fan of what you're doing. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invitation to be part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks everybody for listening, whatever platform you're on. Sometimes we've got quite a good YouTube thing going, a lot of looks there. And then we're also starting to get the audio one going. So if you're catching this on audio, please jump down after or when you bail and give us a little bit of rating, a couple stars. And if you feel really inspired or really, upset at something we said, write us a note at the bottom, and then I'll be sure to reply. We could have a nice, engaging conversation. So the Humanist is kind of born out of it's kind of the evolution of the jar, which I started in almost 2 years ago now, April 22nd, traveling around the country, 111 cities, 400 guests. I'm still kind of on that journey, a little bit of a pause. But I got to 96 cities, Cesar, and interviewed 323 people all around the country in their living room with this big jar of questions I've got. And, we're going to pull a couple for you during the show.
Awesome.
But it's going to be good fun, a really good fun. I'm, looking when we connected on LinkedIn to have this conversation, I look at your bio and I'm just going, whoa, well, this is going to be a fun story. 25 years on TV, right? Reporting. And, with no small brand, CNN, I just got to be some amazing stories and amazing memories. But you've taken such a hard left turn that it's so interesting. So, how did you tell us a little bit of the story? Tell us, and then, somewhere in there, kind of when we get to that good break spot is going to be, and then I started this, or that's what happened. And here I am.
So in a nutshell, what happened at the age of 55, right before turning 55, I was a producer at CNN. I'd been at CNN for 25 years. I got there in 1998, right after the Olympics. I've been working in TV news, all my career. I went to journalism. I went to school for journalism. And I get to the Mecca.
Yeah, that's
news. You're working at CNN.
Worked producer
for a while, and then the opportunity came to work in sports. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm going to get to read about sporting events. I'm going to get to report about sporting events. I'm going to get to go to sporting events and not have to worry about elections and earthquakes and natural disasters and everything else that has to do with news. And it became this great transition, right? So my later years at CNN, I worked in sports, which was awesome, especially at the time that CNN was there, because there was a lot of CNN fake news. And I would say, look, yes, but 5 always beats 4. And the first person over the finish line always wins no matter what. So you can't accuse me of fake news. And
yes.
that was where I was. And I was the typical 50-year-old, going through the motions, really humdrum, waiting to win the lottery, wondering, hey, in 10 years, are they going to roll me down the stairs and say, hey, thanks for your services? And it just so happens that at that time, Discovery bought Warner Media, which owned CNN. And I got the sense that, wait a minute, I'm going to end up being a number on a spreadsheet.
Yes.
And it's going to be number 67. How long has he been here? How much does he make? And Ken, it just so happens that pivotal time in my life, that moment where my life is going to get turned on its head completely, right? Plant medicine comes into my life.
Lovely.
Come into my life. Out of the blue, they find me. The medicine literally, a couple of people talked to me about it, and I'm like, what is this going on? Well, why is this? And at the time, Ken, and if you followed me or if you sort of, read some of my stories, I was a cannabis addict. At the time, cannabis was controlling me. I wasn't controlling cannabis. And that's the problem with addictions. It's when the substance thing, whatever it is that you're addicted to, controls you and you can't say no. That's when the problem, and that's where I was. And it just so happens that plant medicine came to me and said, look, don't worry. We're going to put your feet on the ground. You're going to take a deep breath. Then you're going to take a deeper breath. You're going to close this 25-year chapter. You're going to open up this new chapter. You're going to be able to control your substance dependency, and you're going to move on to this new world, a thought leader and a voice for your generation to let them know, hey, we were programmed that psychedelics were bad. I'm here to tell you that psychedelics saved my life, that through psychedelics, I was able to reinvent myself through psychedelics in a responsible, safe, and effective manner, through education, through asking questions, through community. It's completely changed my life. So, as you said, I've gone from a producer in a mass media conglomerate, yes, agenda based. I'm not going to say biased. I'm not going to say, but yes, when breaking news, Trump just got off an airplane, is where you're going. There's something there, right? There's
Yeah.
but I
Well,
would
it's
say,
more about you. The story's more about you, right? I mean, at the end, it's that
yeah,
maybe that disconnect
yeah. So
over
I've
time.
realized, yeah, I've realized that I've gone from telling stories about others to now telling my story,
Yeah.
and then at the same time hoping other people can share their story, right? So I've created my own little network, right? My own little platform, my own little content service for Generation Xers who microdose, and that was the incredible pivotal change that has happened to me in a year and a half.
And so, yeah, and I'm catching you just still in that a little bit of that wonderment, right? Of just having changed and still, probably waking up some days thinking, oh, I forgot I'm supposed to be at the studio.
Yeah,
Right? Like wake up in a little bit of panic for a moment, going, "Oh, it's still that fresh."
yeah,
Let's
yeah. It
hang on
is.
real quick. I want to take a question from the jar,
Yes,
and then I
please.
want to come back and hear more about what you're doing around the microdosing and the beliefs and your own maybe your
Yes,
own personal experience of kind of crossing
of course.
the Rubicon, if you will. Oh, this is lovely. This is a great transition question. So it's a question from the jar. Do you meditate? Did
Yes.
someone teach you, or did you learn on your own?
A little bit of both. Edgar Tolle's The Power of Now
Oh yeah.
was an incredible book to really get a sense that when you quiet the mind,
Yes.
when you really quiet the mind, which is really what meditation is, right? Meditation is just quieting the mind. When you have that ability to do that, you have the potential to really take actions to a new level, right? When you're able to really just cut everything off, live the present moment. Nothing from the past, nothing from the future is in your mind, because that's what thoughts are, right? And just thoughts of the presentness of what my breath feels like, of what my hands feel like. It's an incredible, powerful tool. And like I tell people, microdosing is just one tool. Psychedelics are one tool in the toolbox. It is a power tool.
Yeah.
It's a power tool, but there's all these other incredibly wonderful tools that can help us elevate to that next level. And definitely meditation is one of them.
Yes.
I'm a big believer in it. I'm a super advocate of meditating. I try to meditate at least 10 to 15 minutes a day. You know what I mean? First thing in the morning. Just really find time for myself and just be with me, with the realization
Love that.
that today is the most beautiful, most wonderful day of my life, because I'm here, I'm present, I'm awake.
Were you able to get to that place at work? I mean, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, were you doing meditation then?
No. My mind was everywhere. My mind was scattered in so many places. I wasn't present. I was always living in thoughts of the past, of, if I would have done that, the divorce, the kids, this, you know what I mean? If I would have taken this, this promotion, or what's going to happen next? You see, it ain't going to be around. It's sort of,
Yeah.
there was no time to say, wait a minute, hold on a second. Let me take a deep breath. Let me take, and that's also part of meditation. I mean, meditation doesn't have to be, let me sit here and, meditation could just be, let me take 3 deep breaths.
Yeah.
3 really good deep breaths. A friend of mine that had a great tip. He sets an alarm at 3:33 every day, and at 3:33 he sits down, he's present, and he takes 3 deep breaths every day. And that's wonderful 3 breaths of meditation, because he's not thinking about anything else. He's just present in that moment. And it's
Yeah.
like,
You're
those are all little incredible little tools that we can all use that make us realize that the most beautiful moment we have is right now.
present moment, right?
Yes.
Absolutely present. Tell me more about what you're doing, and what do you hope to do? Maybe I'll start with what are you doing? Tell us a bit more what you're doing now.
Yeah.
How's the plan shape up? What's the business look like?
So the idea is to become an educational platform where people can come and get open, honest, and objective information about microdosing, and especially people over the age of 50. When I got into this, when my world changes, when microdosing completely
Okay.
reopens my world to reinventing myself. The first idea was, you know what, I want to manifest this. I want to go out. I want to talk to people, because it was funny. Ken, I was at CNN telling people, hey, I'm microdosing. I'm using, and they're like, dude, you're telling people that you're on drugs. I'm like, yes, but it's changed my life. It has completely changed who I am. And look, Dr.
You're
Gupta
evangelizing it. You're evangelizing at work.
At CNN. And look, and it was funny because at that time, Dr. Gupta was doing some stories on it. Wonderland, which is a huge conference in Miami, was going on. So there was, and I was like, look, this isn't the psychedelics of the 60s. This is the psychedelics of Johns Hopkins University, and this is the psychedelics
so
of
many
NYU,
studies.
And this is the psychedelic of Emory University. So it's not the hippie trippy whatever. So it was funny because I was there talking about it at CNN. Like I was like, okay, and I wanted to be able to manifest that. And I said, you know what? I want a shirt that has somehow, you know what I mean, a mushroom or something, because mushrooms have changed my life. And Ken, everything out there was very trippy. It was very psychedelic.
It's still very
high-dye. Right. And I said, look, let's be honest. If I sit there with these gray hairs with a tie-dye shirt on and I start talking to you about psychedelics, about microdosing, what are most people going to say?
Yeah.
Listen, hippie. Listen, stoner. Why don't you go listen to your Grateful Dead 8-track tapes out in the woods? Come back when you're not high, and maybe we can have an adult conversation. And that's where Cultivating Wisdom, the apparel brand, was born. Because I said, you know what?
Great.
I offer something like this that's not trippy, that's not tie-dye, that's very subtle. Someone can come up to me and say, hey, you microdose? Yes, I do.
I do too. Or tell
wisdom?
Me. Yeah.
I've read about that. I've heard about that, but I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't know where to get my medicine. I don't know what to do. Or like it's happened to me, which I love to share the story. I'm in a supermarket, Ken, and a woman comes up to me. She goes, you microdose? And I went, yeah. How can you tell? Because of my smile? She said, no, because of your shirt, dummy. And I was like, okay, yeah, you make a point. And she goes on to share the story how before she would have a bottle of wine every day. She'd come home,
bottle of wine,
kids, glass of wine, okay, and whenever making dinner, you know what? Dad, again, tomorrow I got so much. Second glass of wine, okay. I'm not gonna leave that little bit in the bottle. You know what I mean? Let me just sort of finish it off. And she said, by the end of the night, I wasn't present for anything. She's like, now I microdose every third day. I'm more present for my husband. I'm more present for my kids. I'm more present at work. I'm more present with my career. I'm more present with everything I do. So the idea was to share these stories, to offer up apparel that we can have, one, consolidate the community, right? To open up the community to let other people have these conversations, because people are curious. I mean, Ken, let's think about it. In the last month, Oprah the magazine had an article which the headline was amazing. Are all the moms microdosing without me? I was like, that's brilliant. It wasn't.
That's so cool.
It wasn't moms are taking mushrooms to get away from their kids and sort of find a new mommy's little helper. No, it was great. So the curiosity is there. And now what I realized that is by sharing my story. Hey, I'm microdosing. Hey, I've changed this. Hey, I'm now able to do this. Hey, you know what? I don't have a dependency anymore. People were like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Like share, tell us. So what I've done now is I'm creating some webinars, right? For people people over 50, our generation, because we get to that point in our life, Ken, and I realized that it was at 50, because at 50, you can come to the realization that there's 50 behind me. I don't know if there's 50 in front of me. Let's
There
be
may
honest.
not be. There
Because
may not be.
at 40, you're like, I could make 80. Of course I can
Yes.
make 80.
Yeah.
My mom is 80 and she's thriving. But at 50, you're like, and then you go, wait a minute. Bobby, who was 52,
Yeah.
is no longer here.
Yeah.
Billy, who is 54 now, is diagnosed with cancer. So how many do I have left? Like,
Mm.
what am I gonna do with whatever's left? And it was, I'm hoping through these webinars that I can empower people to say, wait a minute, life is just starting right now today. Like, there's a potential miracle around every single corner. I just have to see it, right? And then I'm also putting together a really well thought out 6-part series on how to create a safe and effective microdosing protocol after the age of 50, talking about issues that we deal with on age set depression, right? The fact
Mm.
that our kids are older and they're maybe not calling as often as we want to. The fact that we go to a doctor and they're like, well, we don't know what you have, but try these pills. And if those don't work, we'll try these.
We'll try these. Yeah.
And that sense of like, everybody wants me to be okay, but I'm not, but whatever. So it's educating people. The idea is that we psychedelics, like I said, are a power tool, but it's a very powerful power tool. And through education, we can
Yeah. I
do
love
it.
that.
I'm scared of. I had someone message me the other day with a picture of a package of something they had picked up at a smoke shop or a vape shop, which looked like a Scooby-Doo type mushroom package, and they asked me, Ken, are these good for microdosing? And I said, let me think about it for a second. No.
No. No.
So the idea, the plan is to do that, and at the same time to grow as much as possible this community. I have a child who's in the Army, right? We're going through a devastating crisis where 22
It's
veterans a day
a day. I know.
make the ultimate choice to no longer be here, right? That weighs heavy on me because I have a kid that's going to come out, right? And I've seen how he's changed in just the time he's there. So for me, I would love to somehow help build some type of system, right, where these men and women,
Hmm.
when they take off that uniform, someone can say, hey, come here, let me give you a hug, and let me help you out a little bit. Let me give you some somatic tools that you can use, some breathing,
I love that.
meditation, some yoga, because you're going to need this. And then let's see if we can graduate you to a good, safe, and effective microdosing practice without you having to rely on a whole bunch of SSRIs. And then maybe let's see if a group healing, community healing, right, can help you out, empty your cup, right? That's something that hopefully cultivating wisdom
Yeah.
will be part of. And then the other thing is, as I've been in this world for just a year and a half, and I've been at conferences, there's a lot of money involved, which is awesome, and we're this close to getting FDA approval of MDMA, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Like
That is
crazy.
that is going to be such a breakthrough situation. But here's my issue: what happens to the people that don't have the money to spend $15,000-$20,000, insurance or no insurance, to get MDMA therapy? Right
Yeah.
now, it's legal in Australia, and to start $20,000. So what's
Oh,
going to
good.
happen?
Whoa.
So $20,000.
Whoa.
So part of me is like, wait a minute, we can grow these medicines. Like, I have the potential to grow my own medicines, and I
Yeah.
can help heal, right? So if somehow we create some type of system where people who have been called to heal in lower served, under income communities can somehow learn how to use these medicines. Someone can say, hey, you know what? Your ancestors used these medicines for centuries, for eons, right? We're going to empower you to use them correctly, to use them ethically, to have the respect for the medicine, and then take it back to your community, because your community really needs it. So that's the goal, right? That's the plan. And this is
Mm.
very young, Ken. I mean, it's like It's only been a year and a half, and sometimes I wake up going, "What am I doing?" And sometimes I wake up going, "Wow, this is awesome what I'm doing." So it's been a whirlwind, but it's been incredibly fulfilling. It's I know this is my path. I know this is my mission,
I love that. Yeah.
and I'm walking it very proudly.
You're on your third act.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I borrowed that from a guest of mine.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
So when you
And
said,
it's
yeah, this is my
and
new
it's the
life, I'm
best
turning.
act.
Oh, it's the best act.
Yeah,
It's the closing act, right? It's all the other acts, all the other parts of the play, the script was all meant for this to
yeah.
support this act.
Exactly, exactly, and it's what we do with them, and and that's the idea. And I think you do this really well, right? Where like you empower people who, in other words, might have been, oh, it's over, it's too late, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean,
No,
no way, that's too late to start. No, 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 it's
it's all
never
been
too
for
late.
this point. This is the start.
Yes, this is the start. Today is
Yeah.
the start.
Everything
Today
else is
is the start.
preamble. Everything else.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like you said before, enjoy that day. I think, even part of this is even understanding that this day, this moment, this hour, this is the magic spot.
Yeah.
So enjoy this present moment. It's the best one. It's the
It's where the
best one.
magic happens. I have this analogy. Someone said, "Well, what's the best day of your life?" And I said, "You know what? I could
Mm.
say about 15 years ago, I was on the Disney cruise. I was out in the middle of the sea in the Caribbean, had a drink in my hand, had my lady next to me. The kids are having a great time. Mickey Mouse is coming by. He's giving me a high five. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's an all-you-can-drink buffet. How could not be the best day of my life?" And when I think of it, I go, wait a minute, hold on a second. First of all, that person and I are no longer together. My kids are all grown and just grown. If you sat me in front of an all-you-can-eat buffet right now, I'd probably be like, no, thank you. I don't drink anymore. So how could that be the best day of my life?
And that actually
It
wasn't very
can't.
good.
The best day of my life is right now because
Yeah.
it's the only one I have. Right?
Yeah, it's the
Five
only one you
seconds
got.
ago is a distant memory. And 10 seconds from
Yeah.
now, I don't know. So if you don't really, and that's, you know what, Ken, that's something that psychedelics did to me. That first moment, that first awakening, right? I've shared this story with people. My first real um, mind manifesting, right? Psychedelics means mind manifesting. My first mind
Mm.
manifesting moment came on a bike ride here in Atlanta. I had my own bicycle day. So if you know
Okay.
the story of psychedelics, exactly, you,
Goodness.
exactly. I had my own bicycle day. Um, I'm on this bike ride in Atlanta with a whole bunch of people. I've had half a chocolate bar with psilocybin in it, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a minute. That's what my hands feel like. And that's what it feels like to take a deep breath. And for the first time in a really long time, I was so present to everything around me, the
Yeah.
people around me, the air around me, the trees around me, the bicycle that was underneath me, my hands. And how often do we not do that? Because our thoughts are everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Because our thoughts are like here and there and whatever. And we don't have this sense of like, hey, did you hear the birds? And did you see the trees? And did you see that the flowers are blossoming? And did you see how
Yeah.
wonderful the sun is? And did you see that there's carpenter ants going through? That
Yes.
those are the beautiful moments, that present moment. And that, because that's where you're most alive. That's where you most thrive. That's where you most have the
Mm.
potential to be the best you. You can't be the best you a week ago. And you
Yeah,
can't
you
be the best
tortured you.
you a month from now. You got to be the best you right now.
You're tortured with thoughts about what's happening tomorrow or next week or next year, and things you did 10 years ago, regrets you have, all kind of silly stuff that floats around in our head. I'm grabbing
Yeah,
another question out of the jar.
bring it.
Um,
Let's go,
think-
Jar.
yeah, I hope that hope it gives you something a little
Nah.
tougher. Okay, it's kind of sweet. So, question from the jar for Cesar: What do you wish to be doing in 10 years?
What do I wish to be doing in 10 years? Whew.
It's been a great
Um,
question 2 years
I,
ago.
I wish I wish to be seen as someone who manifested love you wealth, right?
Mm.
And over fu wealth, right? And what is love you wealth? Love you wealth is you give because you know something's going to come back, and that you get back, you give a little bit more, right?
Mm.
That 10 years from now, I'm at that point where I've manifested love you wealth, where I can have that center for the veterans, where I can be part of that center for people who are healing, right? That I could find a way to really, really be part of this healing that we need, right? This mental health crisis that we're going through.
Yeah.
That there's potential of helping people, that I'm seen as this voice, right? That I'm seen as this person who, hey, you know what? He was able to change. Look at where he is now. You know what? He sees us, and because he sees us, that gives us the power to really believe in ourselves, right? Because if he believes in us, then why
Yeah.
why not us believe in ourselves? So that's where I hope. And it's a great question, because 10 years can be seen as so far away, but it could be seen as so close, right?
Oh yeah.
It could be, you know what? And again, at our age, are those 10 even guaranteed, right? So you can make all these plans for 10 years from now, but if you don't start to get doing them, if you don't start that start date now, if you wait and say, you know what, I'll do it later, you know, it's
Yeah. Later's not
yeah,
guaranteed.
yeah. And I'm a big believer. I think that um, there's this notion that, an easy today is equivalent to a harder tomorrow, right? Well, a
Mm.
little bit hard today can equate an easier tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And it's just doing it, right? It's just sometimes, you know what? And look, I've been through those days where you wake up and you're like, you know what? I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even know
Mm.
where to start this. I don't even know what to do. So, but it's taking action, right? It's knowing that you have to do something. It's knowing. Someone said to me one day. They said the biggest antidote, the biggest remedy to fear and doubt is action. That's it.
Oh
Action.
yeah.
That's all you got
Yeah.
to
I
do.
love.
That's all you got to do. You're standing on the ledge and you're like fearful of, should I jump off? Should I not jump off? Should I jump off? Should I not jump off? It's only one way you're gonna find out. Jump off. Action. That's
or
it.
get down and go home and get back to your
Exactly.
back to your
Exactly.
regular
And then
job.
you live with that. That's
Yeah.
but you have to do action. You can't just stand up there and go, ah.
You gotta
And,
eat or you gotta pee or
and
something eventually.
yeah. And too many humans sit in that, ah.
That brings me back to this next question I was kind of wanting to ask.
Yeah.
And talk about, because we're talking a little bit about purpose. You talked a bit, you found this is what I was here to do, and we kind of talked about that. The other two acts lead up to that. So and maybe some people get two acts, maybe some people get it after one act,
Yeah.
and they're off and running. Um, I mean, what you were that person driving to work, doing everything. Kind of the outside forces were coming for you, in a way, right? Your life was going to change, and it's whether you were going to accept it or not, or get ahead of it or not. And what advice do you have for people? Because you found your purpose. What advice do you have for somebody that might be listening and just thinks, yeah, that'd be great if I knew what the hell I was supposed to do, but I'm stuck in this corporate job. I'm doing this thing every day. I got the bills. I'm in this routine, and I don't see. I keep looking for the exit. I'm looking for signs. How did you come to it? Like you said, it came for you,
Yeah.
and
And
it seemed like
for me,
change was coming for you.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. For me, again, um, you know, the turning point with the plant medicine was pivotal for me, right?
Mhm.
For me, people have asked me, Cesar, what would have happened if plant medicine would not have come into your life at the
Yes.
time it did,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And I fear to think what it could have been. I mean, it was Cesar Marin who was a cannabis dependent, who was escaping everything, just escapism. That's what
Mhm.
the dependency to cannabis can do. Um, that no longer exists because of the psychedelics, right? What I do tell people is that we live in a magical time, And why do we live in a magical time? I'm going to tell you why. Because when I got into media, right, when I started in media some 30 years ago, to have a voice, to be able to give to the world something, right, you needed a studio, you needed lights,
Oh,
you needed a camera, you
yes.
needed a control room, you needed a satellite to send it up to a satellite, you needed another receiver, you needed to have a
Mm,
screen, you need to be sitting down in front of a TV to be able to watch it, right? That
yeah.
no longer exists. We all have a voice. We all have the potential, every single one of us, to use our voice and hand it to the masses
Mm,
and deliver it to the masses. What do you deliver? Right? I tell people, what is it that you have to give the world? What is that one thing that you're incredibly passionate about? What is that one thing that you're an expert in? What is that one thing that you so truly believe in that you know that you can change somebody with this information you have? Because I will assure you, there is someone that's going through the struggles that you've gone. There is
yes.
someone that's been in the hole that you've been, that you've come out of. Right? So use that. Use that. Find a voice. All it takes is finding your niche. All it takes is finding people who have been or going through what you've been through and have accomplished, to be able to say, whether it's, you know what, I'm going to teach you how to build that IKEA thing, that the instructions, you just don't understand how to do it. And you become an expert in that because that's your thing, right? Because you know what, my thing is making crochet bunnies, you know what I mean, out of, people's pajamas who pass away, so that then you can sort of,
So,
you have a doll that you can.
yes.
So it's find what your passion is. Find, I tell people, when everything's done, when you're off the phone, when whatever,
Mm,
what is it that you love to read? And some people might say, well, it's politics, I just can't get enough of that, whatever. Well, then make that your voice. Talk
yeah.
about whatever your opinion is. Everyone has an opinion, right? We all have a story. Every single one of us has a story. And I get it. Some people are like, oh, you know what, that fear of talking to the camera, use AI. But what do you have to give the world, right? What is it that you would hope
Yeah.
that when you're no longer here, the world says, Ken, Cesar, Bob, Ginny, Billy, whatever, thank you for giving us that. Thank you for sharing that. It was funny, Ken, because when I had my first big intentional sitting with psilocybin,
Okay.
with mushrooms, and with complete set and setting, with someone sitting for me, the first message I get, I'm in my house, and all I hear is, go lie on the dining room table. And I was like, what? It said, go lie on the dining room table. And I was like,
Okay.
hey, I guess. And I go over there and I lie on the dining room table and I start to crack up. And my wife is sitting for me, Ken, and I'm sitting there, baby, don't worry. I don't have my feet on the table. And I'm just cracking up. And all of a sudden, all I hear is, you need to go out and set a buffet table of wisdom to cultivate a better future, and teach people to set their own buffet tables of wisdom to cultivate a better future. And that's where the sense of that real cultivating wisdom, that concept came from, where it's like,
Wow.
can we all have wisdom? Let's
Yes.
hand it down. Let's share that. Let's see how we can. Because unfortunately, what we're doing down, the only thing we're handing down to our younger generation is these things. That's all we're handing down. We're handing down tablets and phones and not handing down this wisdom that we have. So find a way to whatever wisdom you
Mm,
have to do that. And it might start small. The first month you have one follower, one person who pays whatever, $50 for your little course on whatever it is, or you set your price on whatever your course is. And 2 months later you have 10, people paying, and
yes.
they speak because you've changed people, you've done something, and that's a passion project, right? That's something that you can give back to the world. Obviously there's a whole bunch of other ways. I mean, there's affiliate marketing, there's whatever, but I
Hmm.
I just think that there has to be a way that we can hand down some of the wisdom that we have, right? To leave it for, the next generation, to leave it for the people who need mentorship, right? That's what we leave. So that's what I
Yeah.
would tell people. That's what I would tell people. See what you really love to talk about
Yeah. I
and
love
talk
that
about it.
you got such a good, clear message, and you captured it. Right. It's really good that you're like, oh, okay, that's it, and you grabbed onto it. And I think like the bridge analogy is great because you also jump. I mean, I'm a jumper, and
Yeah.
so I would say just jump, and
Yeah.
you'll find out, when you land in the water, you might come up on some other, you'll get swim up on some rocks, and you might find, oh, that rock, and then you find out that that's where you're supposed to be. It wasn't jumping in the water, but it was jumping in the water to get to the rock,
Yes.
or it's the path you choose back to get to the bridge. You find something,
Yeah.
and that path leads you to where you're supposed to go. So
Yeah.
I agree with you 100% on the action. Just do something
Yeah. And
and
it's funny
follow
you
it.
say it's funny you say that, Ken, because for a really long time in my life I wasn't a jumper. I was just there. I was just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
Because
20 years it's here. You weren't jumping anywhere. You were just
no,
you were
no, exactly. I was going through the motions, right? And that
yes.
happens to a lot of us. And
Oh
it's just
God, yes.
this is fine, this is steady, this is stable, this is whatever. But you don't realize that like mine was forced.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
mine
that's I
was
mean, it was coming for you.
yeah, mine was forced, right? Which means why wait till it's forced? Why not find that whatever it is, right, and
Mm,
run with it and jump? You know what I mean? And
and
see
jump.
where you land. That's you know what? It's sort of I don't regret anything in life, so I don't sit here and go, oh, you know what? If I would have jumped 10 years ago, you know what I mean?
Hey, you weren't ready.
Whatever. But it is now then empowering people to say, you know what? Don't wait to jump. Don't wait to jump.
Yeah.
Don't wait to jump. You know what I mean? And you might jump and you might fall, but you know what? You get up, you jump again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably you get to jump again. That's the beauty.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
It's that the idea of things happening to me, right? This happened to me, this happened to me. It's a language, right?
yeah.
It's a point of view. And then when you finally kind of cross over to this happened for me,
For me, correct. That's exactly it.
this happened for me, and then you start the options, one is backward looking, happened to me, and then you're going to replay what happened and why you ended up in that situation and why the characters in it, the play did what they did, versus this happened for me, and then
For me.
it's a puzzle because you're standing there now in the point of view of the event, and you're trying to figure out the forward part, like what am I supposed to do with this if this
Yes.
happened for me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what does
Yeah.
that mean? Because that means
Yeah.
that's a totally different answer.
And it's and the other thing, when you think that way, the answer comes from gratitude, right? Because
Oh yeah, you're
it's a,
thankful. Yeah, yeah.
it's a thinking of, you know,
Oh, love it.
thank you, universe,
Yeah.
that this
I
happened to me
I
because I
don't know
was
what
able to
it's
do this.
for.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's tragedy, and you got to kind of go, okay,
That's but
don't.
that's but that's life, right? Life is this roller coaster of ups and downs.
Yes,
Yeah, of yeah, sometimes. And like I tell people, look, you're never as high as your high and you're never as low as your low, right? And as long as
mm,
you can be totally, totally at peace where you are, right?
yeah,
Life is so much easier. Life is so much easier. You know what? Because we have this sense sometimes like, why am I not up here? Why am I not making this? Why am I not doing this? Or why don't I have a center yet? Or why aren't more conferences asking me to speak? Or why am I not
yeah,
helping more people? Well, you know why? Because you're right here. And 12 months ago, you were down here.
yeah.
So,
Hello.
hello, where are
Yeah,
you? So once
right.
you come to peace with what's around
Mm.
us, with this present moment, you realize that life is so beautiful. Every day is the best day of my life, Ken.
I was listening to I listened to this one guy I'm following quite a bit now is Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Yeah, yes. Oh, I
and
love Joe Dispenza.
yeah, and
Love Joe
just
Dispenza.
love what he's doing and his growth over, kind of thinking something was happening and then finally proving it out and now sharing the message. And he was telling a story of this person who was suffered a pretty vicious sexual assault, like one of his recent stories, one of his clients.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, I don't know, maybe it was 20 years, she was living with it. And it was multiple people. I think it was four, the number was four. And he got into one of his classes, got into a meditation, and then got the message. Yeah, that was me. I sent four angels.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, all of a sudden, her
Hmm.
life's different.
Yeah.
It's a different, like, holy cow. And so,
Yeah.
you would have gone back and realized, wow, that did happen to me, but it was for, like, there was a bigger purpose. And her message is to take that and go out and speak about it, and I'm not quite sure what she's doing with it, but it's just kind of like this where you find out, holy cow, stuff happens, and it's not the way it appears always in life.
That's so true. And I look, I could have sat there, getting laid off at the age of 55 when you realize there's not a lot of people hiring 55-year-old TV sports producers, right? And TV's dying. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
No one's sitting
TV's
there going,
hard.
"Oh, it's 6:30. Let's sit down and watch the news because we got." No one is. No one is. Everyone's getting news on their phone. No one is sitting there.
Yes.
So there's not. And I could have sat there. I could have literally sat there in this. Why did this happen to me? And why? You know what I mean? I was such a great person. Everyone loved me. You know what I mean? Everyone knew when my birthday was. You know what I mean? Everyone smiled when they saw me. Why? No, that's not. That's in other words. And it was funny because that day, at the time, I was working an 8:30 sports show, 8:30 in the a.m. So, which meant I had to be in the office by 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And I'd get up. I did a morning show which was on at 6 a.m. and I was in the office at 1 a.m. in the morning for a long time, for about 10 years. But
Oh
I
my
was at my
God.
kids' bus stop every day when they got off that bus. And I sat down with dinner every single day. So that was the payoff. But going back to that day I get laid off, I would usually get up, go to work, whatever, kiss my wife, and you know what I mean. She'd be like half asleep. That day, she purposely woke up. She got up out of bed, you know what I mean, and she came to me before I left, and she said, "Look, if the universe wants you to keep your job at CNN, you're going to keep your job at CNN. But if the universe needs you to do something else, you're going to lose your job at CNN."
Whoa.
And I was like, "Yeah, she's right." So when I went in there, it wasn't like, why did this happen to me? It was like, or what does this mean next? Why? In other words, this is happening to me for a reason, because there's another purpose, because there's another mission, because I have to wake up to the reality that, hey, this is my ship, and I'm not on someone else's ship anymore. This is my ship, and I gotta
Yeah.
in this ship. So it's really it's those eye-opening moments, right? That are the difference makers in our world, right? That sort of like we've said, why did this happen to me, and what is the message out of it?
Yeah. Boy, and that one, the way when you were saying it, I almost felt like now you've got a responsibility. It almost becomes heavy.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
the other job was, you thought that was responsibility. Now you have a purpose. Still also,
exactly,
that's also
exactly.
scary, right?
It is. It's very scary, Ken, and it's very scary in many reasons, right? Look, let's be honest. We're talking about psychedelics. It's a very gray area. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yes, I'm not doing anything illegal. I mean, a shirt, it's not illegal, right? Me guiding
Hmm.
someone, it's not illegal, right? But there is that sense of whatever, what's going to happen. You know what I mean? We can, I don't know what happens if we get some military state, down
Hmm.
the road, and it's like, you know what I mean? So it's completely different than the comfort of working for a big, huge conglomerate where
Hmm.
there's insurance and there's benefits and there's fun and you got a job and you're making a decent salary if you've been there for 25 years.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And now it's like, whoa, no, now it's me. I mean, it's not like I have a team of producers and writers and anchors. This is me creating content and editing it and putting text on it and being there
I
and being
love it.
and going to conferences and going to, this weekend was the Atlanta Mushroom Festival here in Atlanta, and being present for people because I know people have questions, and and offering up our apparel, and it's become fun. Life has become so fun because
That's
I'm
so
doing
cool.
something I'm doing something that I believe in, right? I'm doing something that that like I said, it's become my passion. And once you find that, whether it's sewing socks, whether it's kites, whatever it is, it you go out there with a smile. And since you are manifesting love you wealth, wealth doesn't become money. Wealth doesn't become material things. Wealth comes this conversation. This to me is wealth, right? This
Mm.
conversation we're having is wealth. Me, meeting with someone who says to me, "Hey, Cesar, I was at your workshop last time we had the mushroom festival, and because of you, you poked at my childhood curiosity to start microdosing, and now my husband also started, and he's not drinking every day." That to me is wealth.
Yeah,
That
that's
that to me is
lovely.
priceless wealth. So it's when you do that, when you're doing something like that, it's not about the money. It's not about that wealth. It's about the wealth of enriching people and enriching yourself and touching, right? Touching,
Mm.
the people that you do on a daily basis in a positive way. Whether it's, look, I'm a big fan. I love going to the supermarket once, twice a week in the morning and just saying good morning to everybody. Just like some crazy old
Are you
lunatic.
that? Are you that guy?
Yeah, I'm that guy.
You're that guy.
I'm that old grandpa that comes up and says good morning. But you know what? I know that if I say that to 5 people, 2 might say, "You know what, dude, go mind your own business. You know what? I'm having such a crap day. You don't know.
Yeah.
What are you telling me good morning? You don't know what my morning is." That's fine. You're gonna have 2 people. They're gonna say, "You know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. You have a good
Yeah.
morning." But you're gonna have that one person that could potentially has had such a bad day that good morning, that's someone acknowledging them, that's someone seeing them, it's gonna
Yeah.
make their day. And if
It's
that's not
true.
wealth, then what is?
I think you sound like a man that's been freed from money.
Or don't have any. No,
That's how you
no,
that's how you get free of money.
exactly.
You just don't you lose it all, and all of a sudden you realize
I,
doesn't really matter, and it didn't buy you anything
I have
in the
everything I
end.
need.
You have everything you need. I got another question for you queued up. Ooh, and this is a good kind of touches on a couple things we talked about.
Good.
So a question from the jar for Caesar. Share one thing that you should leave in the past today for a better tomorrow. Share one thing you should leave in the past today for a better tomorrow.
Um, that's a
You've
great
done
question, and
you've
it's a
cleaned
great,
out a lot. You've cleaned
yeah,
out a lot.
and and you know why it's a great question because I people that I work with, I ask them this a lot. If you're saying yes to this, what are you saying no to? Right.
Oh.
If you're
Oh, I
saying yes to
love
this,
that.
which is right now, what are you saying no to? So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you leave this,
Understand.
right, and put it in the past, what are you potentially
Yeah.
saying yes to? So the answer to the question is as present as I can be. I would like the ability to not be connected to this thing so much,
Hmm.
right? I would like to leave some of the dependency to that in the past so that I'm more present for other things that happen. And I realize that I'm in I create content, right? So I have to always not I don't have to always no, that's a wrong
Yeah,
phrase.
yeah.
That's a wrong
Yes.
phrase. Um and it's not even that it depends on it, but I part of what I do is creating this content, and I
Yes.
need that apparatus to create the content.
Yeah. To
That
get the
being
message out. It's a tool,
yes,
right? As long as
that
it's a
being
tool, I
correct.
guess. I struggle with this too. The way as you're
Yeah,
saying this, I'm like, yeah, that's me too. I so
yeah.
struggle
But
with this.
that being said, there are moments where I can be more conscious and say, I just finished the content. Let me put that down instead of I just finished the content. Let me go on Twitter or X for a little bit and let me see what else people are doing. And let me see what else is going
Mm,
on. And let me see
yes.
what's on for sale. And let me see what's this, that. And then my wife's sort of saying something and I'm not even paying attention because I'm here. And
Mm,
like, I hope that I can leave some of that in the past, right? The non-necessary connectivity so that in the future I could have more time with the important things.
yeah.
Yeah, whether it's, you know what, let me sit here and pet my poor dog who's been waiting for me because I've been on meetings, for the last 2-3 hours, and he wants some time instead of. So it's, yeah, what I'm saying yes to right now, um, is being too connected, and I'm saying no to having some more time
Hmm.
for the things that really matter.
I'm gonna try that as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
It's
great. I love that prompt. That was really, and it's important because it is true. What would you leave in the past so that
so you
you
got a
can
better tomorrow.
create this better future? Yeah, it's smart.
Boy,
That's
man, that's like a once a week question, right? We
yeah,
just get
yeah,
that one should come up
exactly,
every week.
exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
too much ice cream, so I can fit in my speedo in the summer.
Oh goodness, I think
No,
I got a bad. I just had
no,
a
no,
bad image.
no. Let's take
And
that visual out already. Fine. No, no.
monkeys, red cars.
I wear a full trunk. You know what I mean, with mushrooms on it.
Oh goodness, no, not another one. Full, yeah, it's a red car and monkeys.
Yeah,
When people,
exactly.
right, as soon as you say, try not to imagine monkeys, and
Right.
the only, for the next 10 seconds, but the
Oh
only thing you could think about is monkeys in your head.
no.
Oh, boy, I had a question I had a question kind of posed there
Until
for a
until you
second
started thinking
until
about monkeys.
until I started thinking about monkeys. I no wonder I dislike monkeys so much. Okay, I'm going to take us in one more question
Yes, please.
from the jar, and then I'll kind of let you transition it into some kind of a wrap up.
Yeah, of
Some
course.
kind of a thoughts
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and how people find you and all that good stuff. Like I
Definitely.
found you on LinkedIn.
Yes, please.
uh,
I like it
Caesar,
already.
there is something about the jar. Honestly, it is truly. There are times I look at it and I just get chills down my spine. And you'll get this when I say it. So the next question from the jar: can you describe the highest point in your life?
It's a great question, and here's how I'm going to
Well,
phrase it.
do you hold on? Let me pause you
Yes. Oh, wait a minute. There's more.
because this is the question you asked yourself in the conversation that somebody asked you. Remember when you said, "Can you describe the highest point in your life?" And I said I could say I was on a Disney cruise. You literally asked this question already.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The high,
That's
the highest
crazy.
the highest point in my life is right now. It's right now. It's right now. Now, if you were to ask me, and this is also a great question, what is the podium of Cesar Marin's life events
Yes.
up to right
Oh, I
now?
love that. Okay.
Up to
Yeah.
right now.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Bronze medal number 3 would be my first ever psychedelic experience. Big, you know what I mean? Intentional journey, a lot of incredibly powerful messages, a lot
Wow.
of going deep into my childhood of where
Mm,
things that hold me back, where they came from. A
love that.
lot of believe in yourself, go with your heart. Um, a lot of you're at this transition and you're going to be fine. So that's number 3.
Mm,
Number 2, silver medal, meeting the love of my life after the age of 50, finding this woman who I know, um, thick and thin, who accepts me for who I am, who, when I said I'm going to start using psychedelics to curb my cannabis addiction, said, I trust you, that you're doing the right thing, that during my whole dependency was never a nag, was always like, you will figure it out. You're a grown.
wow.
So she's definitely,
Amazing.
definitely silver. And number 1, gold medal, the birth of my 3 kids, without a doubt,
Yeah.
without a
It's hard
doubt,
to,
with
hard to
with
beat that.
without any doubt in my mind, the 3 most important things in my world are my children. And they're grown people now. They're grown. My oldest is 28. He's living his best life in Nashville, doing really well. My middle one is 24. He's an Army Ranger. He's in the middle of Army Ranger school. Maybe when this comes out, he'll be already graduated. He'll be an Army Ranger. And
Wow.
then I have a 19-year-old daughter who is a freshman at Georgia Tech. So that's why I do everything, right? That's why I am who I
Mm,
am, and I've been incredibly lucky to have 3 children who've been understanding. I mean, someone else could have said, Dad, you're going to do what? Like, you're creating a clothing line for people to manifest the fact that they're doing something illegal. That's what you're doing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's your father.
Yeah.
And
Which
and
my
I'm
daughter,
all in.
which exactly, which is funny because that's what my daughter said to me. Now my daughter wears our gear here or there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She had a college roommate to ask if I could give her some gear. I was like, of course. So definitely the podium of my life. Again, my kids, my wife, and that psychedelic experience.
And the first, yeah. Lovely.
Maybe can I add a question to that jar? Can that be my question? What is the
Sure.
podium of your life?
What is the podium of your life? That's a really good one, actually. That would make the jar.
I love it. I'm glad I've added something to the jar.
How about how do people find you?
So the best way to find me, the where I'm most active, obviously is Instagram, which is cultivating.wisdom. I share daily little wisdoms. I have conversations with people in the psychedelic space. I'm opening up to, conversing with more people who aren't in the psychedelic space, but who have transformational stories, how psychedelics have helped them. So they can find me there. Also, CesarMarin.net is the main platform where the webinars and the courses are going to go. And you can also find the apparel store at cultivatingwisdom.net. I'm going to actually put a promo code JAR20 in honor of the jar. Anyone listening gets a 20% discount on any of the apparel in the Cultivating Wisdom store. Again, it's fun, not, you could be microdosing on, chocolate milk. You know what I mean? You could microdose on anything theoretically. And, we have fun stuff. We have a shirt that says mush love because the mushrooms help us, create this empathy and this love for each other. So, you know what I mean? A lot of little fun things. We're bringing out a new line for the summer with some good t-shirts and stuff. So the apparel brands is part of it, but the real mission is to educate people to microdose the right way. Don't be going off to a vape shop and buying whatever. Educate yourself. Like I tell people, please don't microdose because I'm microdosing. Please don't do that. Microdose because or either I've helped you or someone else has helped you, or if you've educated yourself, you've read a book, you've joined a group, you've joined a community, you've asked questions, because, again, they're powerful tools when used correctly, safely, responsibly, knowing that there's intentions that need to be set, there's integration that needs to be worked, but if done with some guidance, that they're very powerful. So that's where definitely you could tap in if you're interested. I do work with people, helping them to create safe and effective microdosing practices through my experiences and what worked for me, what didn't work for me, how citizen science is how you find your correct dosage. You know what? My dosage is not going to work for anyone else, and my protocol might not work for everyone else. So it's sort of that, I help people tinker a little bit to find that, that sort of correct, sweet spot, as they call it, of microdosing, dosage, and protocol, so that, you can be the most authentic, most creative, most empathetic, most centered you.
Love it, Cesar. That was just that's great close. Lovely. And it's the Instagram is cultivating wisdom.
Cultivating.wisdom. Cultivating.wisdom.
Okay.
On Instagram. A lot of fun stuff on there. I got a lot of nice partners that we partner up with. I'm a big believer in growing your own medicine. We partner up with a wonderful company that helps people grow their own medicine, which is nice. We're actually doing giveaways, which is super cool because it's power to the people, right?
Yeah.
Please don't go buying anything from Joe Shrooms on Instagram. I don't know if Joe Shrooms. I might be slandering Joe Shrooms.
Yeah.
Joe Shrooms might actually be legitimate. No, you know what? Mr. X or Mr. T or Mr. whatever. You know what I mean? Or Granny
Mr. T
Smith
probably also has his own line.
He does. Mr. T does have his own line of cannabis stuff. So
he does, right? Oh,
yeah. Educate yourself. Find your community. Find your people. Do this correctly. and it definitely could help. And to all your listeners, Ken, thank you, for listening. Thank you for what you're doing. Like I
Yeah,
said,
thank you.
you're empowering people. You're bringing in incredibly wonderful messages. That just do it. You know what I mean? Just
It's a
don't
great
hesitate. Get it done.
it's a great wrap up, right? Jump and just see where it leads, and instead of waiting for something to happen for you, you can make it happen for yourself, right?
Exactly.
Cesar, thanks so much, and thanks everybody for listening, supporting the Humanist. If you, like I said, if you like the show, if you like the content, drop down, give us a couple stars, and then if you got something beautiful to say, a nice message, leave that as well. Cesar, thanks. Hang around for 20 seconds. I'll see you on the other side.
Will do. Ken, thank you.
Thanks. Welcome to the Humanist Podcast. I'm your host, Ken Stearns. Join us on a journey where we unravel the intricacies of workplace dynamics